Okay, it's safe to say that there's a lot of animosity that's happening in the UK at the moment due to lots of riots happening and protests and things like that. And if anything, it's going to get bloody worse. Now, why is it happening? Is it a war against the government and the decisions that they make? Is it cost of living? Is it because of the fibre of the UK is literally crumbling? What is bloody going on? But the main thing which people are very concerned about is immigration, because England or the UK is only a small island when you think about it in comparison to the rest of the bloody world. But lots of people are coming into this country illegally, and that is what's getting people upset. But one thing people aren't really thinking about or asking the question: when illegal immigrants come into the UK, what happens next? What's the process? How are illegal immigrants actually staying in the UK and not being sent back to their own country? Well, in this video, you're going to find out.
Analyzing the news.
Okay, so some people cross the English Channel in small dinghy boats, and they usually come in from the country of France. They are often called small boat crossings. It's very dangerous, risky, but sadly, it happens a lot. Others might hide in trucks or use fake papers or lie to get on a plane, which is a lot more difficult. So they go the easy way round, which is over the water. So the question is, who pays for or organises their journey? Well, mostly people who do this are called smugglers. But basically that's it. They are criminal gangs that request money, and these gangs operate across Europe, Africa and the Middle East. The UK has set up a new team called the Border Security Command with police, MI5, the National Crime Agency and Immigration Enforcement to stop these gangs. They have new techniques and technical equipment and surveillance to prevent these things from happening. The question is this: what actually happens as soon as the illegal immigrants get into the UK? Well, once they were out, they say they want asylum, meaning they say it isn't safe to go home. So in other words, as soon as they get onto the UK soil, they just say, listen, I'm seeking asylum. That's all they say. And the reason why is because it's not safe for me to go back home. Then the UK government steps in to give them a place to stay. Often it's a hotel at first, but they have to protect them because our government, our laws protect asylum seekers. And once they're on our soil, then we have to protect them because it's dangerous for them to go back. So I hope that bit answers that part of the question for you. So what does the UK government do next? Well, they start processing their asylum claim because they're claiming asylum. This can take a long time, and the UK has a big backlog, meaning many people are waiting around for literally weeks or months, probably years, to see if they can remain in the UK. But until then, they put them in a hotel. Some people ask for appeals if their claim is literally refused, which a lot of it is. And the government is changing how that works to speed things up. They will set up a new panel with trained adjudicators to tackle this workforce, because it's a lot of thing going on, and they try to tackle it as quickly as possible. But again, it costs money. And who pays for it? You do, the taxpayer. There's also a new deal with France. Now, for every person who arrived in the UK illegally and gets sent back, the UK will take one approved asylum seeker from France who has ties to the UK. Now, so far, that's around 50 per week, so we've been told. When you say ties, that means they might have family members here. So the question is, once they're here, how long do they stay in the hotels for? Well, right now, around 32,000 asylum seekers are living in hotels. The number is down, apparently, from 50,000, which was back in 2023, but it doesn't seem like that. It seems like it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, but this is the information that's presented to us. The government actually says that they want to end using hotels by 2029. They're also trying to push people into more permanent shared housing instead. So instead of being in a hotel, we'll get a house. So why are the residents of the UK getting so upset and angry about this? Well, there's a few reasons for it. Many people feel it's unfair that migrants get hotels while they can't afford housing, and they feel squeezed by the bloody bills that they're getting. A normal person, and who even works, can't just afford to stay in a hotel in the UK. It's very expensive because the cost of living is so tight at the moment. Everything's bloody expensive. Secondary, some worry about the safety. Now, a single case triggered alarm. An asylum seeker was accused of an assault in Epping that sparked big protests. I'm sure you know about what happened there. Thirdly, there's little community conversation before hotels open nearby. That makes locals feel left out. And now you've got to think about this. We've got a hotel near us and there's illegal immigrants there, but no one's come to us and says, are you okay with this? They don't, they just do it. The local authority just put them there. They don't ask anyone, and we're the ones that are paying the council tax. They don't ask us anything. But now they're not really allowed to do that, are they? But they bloody do. Now, the fourth one would be something like the protests are mostly against the men-only hotels. Now, 2/3 of asylum seekers are actually men. And then fifth, some far-right-in national groups amplify fears and spread misinformation online, which they do. So you just got to be aware of that. There's people out there that'll exaggerate things. And when I say exaggerate, sometimes they tell lies and things like that. So yes, things have happened. And certain people, illegal immigrants, have done things as an individual. Excuse me. But that's not to say that every single one of them's doing it. But we tar everyone with the same brush, don't we? That's how we work. Getting back to it, let's find out what are some real life examples to bring this to life. Okay, let's say you're watching this on YouTube, which obviously you are. You have a scenario. Now, scenario A could be a small boat is crossing. Imagine someone is in Calais who pays smugglers to take them across to the channel in a rubber dinghy. They land in Kent and then feel relieved, which kind of you would if your country was in hell. You want to get away, don't you? Then the border guards, they want asylum. That's what they ask for. Right, I want asylum. So they get taken to a hotel while their case is being reviewed. And then scenario B would be all male hotels are causing worry, because picture a small town where a hotel suddenly starts housing only men who want asylum. Now the locals get worried about the safety and the lack of planning, because they don't know who these men are. They don't know their past. It's very unlikely that these men are academic or some sort of doctor or a professor. They wouldn't be like that. These people that are getting through, it's like Donald Trump says, the country only sends the worst, not the best. So this is a concern that's happening as well. That's what's happening in Epping at the moment. That's where all these kickoffs are taking place. People are very concerned. Then you've got scenario C, which is one in, one out deal in action. What that means is a family with UK links waits in France, then they're brought over legally, but at the same time, someone who was crossed by boat without permission is sent back to France. That's the heart of the one in, one out swap. So that's what they're talking about at the moment between the UK and France borders. So let's look at this. What's the government's bigger job or responsibility? They must follow the UK international law. And that's what this is. We're all following law. The governments and the police and the decisions that are made are following something that we've got called law. They must decide if claims are fair and people are housed safely. They also must protect public services and respect local communities. It's a balancing act. Fairness, safety, fairness for everyone. But the problem with that, there's people in the UK who are UK residents that are homeless, but there's no fairness when it comes to them, or is there? Or we're just not being made aware of it. You see a lot of homeless people living on the streets, and they say, oh, well, I've got nowhere to live. But then you look at the other end of the scale and then they say there's plenty of resources. So we need to find out what opportunities that we've got as UK citizenships. Because at the moment it just feels like anyone can come to England and get what they want. But people who live in the UK, they can't get anything they want. But is that right, or is that what we think? That's why we have to look into this, isn't it? Find out what are our rights? What are we entitled to? So then you've got to ask yourself the main question with asylum seekers. Why do these asylum seekers, or people, because that's what they are, why do these people actually do this? Why are they fleeing their country to come to the UK? It's not that nice in the UK. I spend most of my time in bloody Spain where it's sunny. Well, often it's because their homes and countries are extremely dangerous. There's war, there's persecution, or natural disasters, and they seek safety or a chance of a new life. But the problem is the majority of the people that are coming over are young men. They're not women and children. So where's all the women and children if all the men are coming over? This is the concern. But again, this is the reason why the immigrants come from their country to the UK, because they're running away from something, because they want a better life. So again, they come here to find protection, not harm. But everyone's experience is unique. Some families come, some women, some children, but many of them are all fleeing from something. They're fleeing from the threats. But again, what we're hearing is the ones that are causing the problems, huge problems, individuals, everyone's getting tarred with the same brush. Remember, I'm neutral. I'm concerned like everybody else, but I'm trying to understand what's actually going on. What's the bigger picture? Why is it happening? So hopefully I'm trying to get this through in the way I can, and everything that I'm saying to you is all factual based. It's not clickbait. It's not rumour. It's the truth. So what fuels the big rise in protests now? Because you see it all the time. I was in Liverpool 2 days ago and it was scary. The amount of people that were protesting, there was literally thousands of them. People are not happy, really not happy. Now, the protest started basically after the assault case in Epping. I think it was on the 13th of July back in 2025. What happened? This sparked fears about safety, and then protests spread to many towns and cities. And of course, when people feel threatened, or the children, people have got children, if they're children, they feel threatened that their children aren't safe, they're gonna go into that attack mode, aren't they? Fight or flight response. You protect your children. That's nature, isn't it? That's normal. That's right. Your protective instinct comes in. So yeah, people are angry about the hotels and obviously the costs that it's costing, because we're paying for it. The UK government, that is a word. The people who put the money into this UK government is you. So again, and people can't afford to live as it is. So we're paying, billions of pounds going into these hotels. The only people who are laughing, the people who own the hotels, are becoming very, very rich, aren't they? Because they don't get discounted prices. They pay the full whack, or the government, or we pay the full whack per night. And you're talking at least, £100 a night? And that's per person. And then you get fed and this, that and the other. Then you get an allowance, and then they get mobile phones. It goes on. But again, I'm not going into that, but you're all aware of it. But again, let's stick to the point. There's a lack of planning, and it feels that there's a lot of pressure on the local services like schools and healthcare. So some people, well, a lot of people, most people can't get a dentist appointment, or they can't get into the hospital. And it's true, you can't. You can't just ring up your hospital and book an appointment. It doesn't work like that, because there's too many people in the UK, and the infrastructure, like the policing, the hospitals, the schools, they're not big enough. They're not built to sustain all these people that come in. Remember, we're just a bloody island. So just to wrap it up a little bit, many asylum seekers cross the boat, remember, to hide or get away from something. And the way they do that, they come in vehicles, and they're arranged by smugglers, basically. They don't get a taxi, do they? It's smuggling. So the smugglers are making lots of money as well. There's a criminal underworld, so they're contributing to it as well. And on arrival, as soon as they get here, the asylum seekers will ask for protection, and then they are placed in hotels where their claims are processed. And yes, the government is trying to speed up these decisions and reduce hotel use and run a France swap deal, like we said before. But locals often feel ignored, and they're worried and concerned and burdened. That's why all these protests have gone wild, and it's going to get worse, because people don't know what's going on, and they're concerned, they feel threatened. And yeah, of course, that's right, isn't it? And the UK government must juggle fairness, law, and public trust. Now, at the minute, does anyone really trust the government? I've not met someone who goes, do you know what, I actually trust the government. They don't. That's a problem, right? Because if you don't trust something, it's going to fall, isn't it? Well, something's going to happen, isn't it? There's 8 billion people on this planet. Remember that. So the UK law is very clear. Entering the UK without permission is illegal. This is the law. Under the Immigration Act of 1971, it says that entering without the right documents is a criminal offence. If convicted, a person could face up to 12 months in jail or a fine, or up to 4 years if the case is more serious. But is that happening? If that is the law, so if someone's coming in illegally, we've obviously caught them, why aren't they going to prison? They're not, they're going into hotels, because what they're doing there, the immigrants are seeking asylum. And because they say that, oh, I'm seeking asylum, so then it doesn't become a criminal offence because they're seeking something. It's a bit of a twist there, isn't it? So the Illegal Immigration Act 2023 sets out strong rules. It requires that the UK government to remove anyone who enters illegally as soon as possible. People who arrive this way cannot use modern slavery protections, asylum, or human rights claims to stop their removal. They can't do that. They can also be detained while removal is processed. So they're being detained while the process of their asylum seeking is accepted or declined. And they cannot settle or gain citizenship or return until that's done. So they can't work. They're sort of in limbo. So in other words, as soon as you come over, the asylum seekers will say, I'm seeking an asylum. That's it. So now the UK government will put them in a hotel until their claim is processed. And that's why you get an influx of people coming in. And these asylum seekers are getting told what I'm telling you now. So more than likely, they'll get told, as soon as you get there, just say, I'm seeking asylum. That's all you need to say, nothing else. So that's what they're doing. So now they're getting put in the hotels and they're just waiting. So let's look at enforcement. Now, the way enforcement is handled by officials like the immigration officers, Border Force, yeah, well, that's what it is, and the Border Security Command, supported by laws that let them arrest or detain or remove illegal immigrants. Employees who hire people, which is happening because that's called slave trade. They'll get the illegal immigrants are coming in and then they're working. Now, people will pay them, which is a bit naughty, that, isn't it? Because they'll pay them very little and it's very illegal. So employers who hire people without the right to work face hefty fines. Now, as far as I'm aware, it's up to £60,000 per worker. And all this is to protect the UK's immigration system and public service and support people who are here legally. Because that's the thing, you see, there's nothing wrong coming to the UK. We're out of Europe now, we're out of Brexit, so I can't just go and live to Spain. If I got on a plane and went to Spain, I'd be in big trouble. If I decided to go over the 90-day rule, that means if I stayed there longer than 90 days, I'll be in serious trouble, right? I wouldn't get put in a hotel. I'd be in big trouble. And that's Spain. But the process in the UK is completely different. In other words, the laws in the UK are different. We protect asylum seekers because they're basically trying to get away from something. So that's the law. And because we've got that in place, it's protected. Now, nothing will change unless they change the law. So do they need to change the law? Well, let me know in your comments. But basically, I'm neutral on all this. I'm just giving you information. So in a nutshell, that's how it works. I hope that clears things for you. Anyway, until next time, guys, thank you for watching this video. Please comment on it because it's good to get information and interaction so we know your views on it. What are your thoughts? How do you feel about it? What can change? What can't change? Will it get worse? Will it get better? Is AI going to take over the whole government? Probably. Something's going to happen. They have to get rid of the old system, don't they? And the only way to get rid of an old system is to destroy it and implement a new, bigger one, which looks like it's going to be AI, doesn't it? The AI. It's going to be very interesting. But anyway, till next time, guys, take care and I'll see you later.